Hey everyone, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate support. In this one, I wanted to speak to you guys about an idea that I've been kind of playing around with in my head. It's kind of a new idea, so I'm kind of going to work through it with you guys in this video. Hopefully, that's okay with you. I do that a lot, I'm guessing. I've recently been thinking, about the fact that INFJs are constantly changing, almost on an hourly basis, I would say, on a daily basis for sure. I am not the person I was yesterday. I definitely am not the person I was a year ago. Definitely not the same person I was 10 years ago. And so we're constantly recalibrating ourselves, redistributing ourselves, reinventing ourselves. That's the best word for it, I think. We're constantly reinventing ourselves as individuals. More so, I would say, than anyone else that I know of. Maybe INTJs do that as well, maybe INFPs. But in general, most people try to stay steady. They try to stay in their comfort zones and they try to remain, they pretty much remain the same as they are for a long time to come. They might change here or there a little bit, but not too much so. I notice that because, I come back to Toronto and I meet up with the people that I've known for a while and I look at them and I'm like, we're having the same conversation we had last time I came, which was 2 years ago. So then we are always constantly reinventing ourselves. And for me, I've kind of noticed something where as I said, will meet people who I knew 2 years ago, a year ago, a few months ago. And I'm not the same person that they know. Or I'm not the same person that was friends with them in that point in time. I'm not the same person at all. I don't have the same interests, perhaps even, except for a couple of things. I have changed. We changed so rapidly that I'm not the same person I was when we were friends. And so it seems like how can friendships how can we remain friends for a long period of time? It actually seems completely unviable to me because if you are not together and you're not changing together and they're not changing at a rapid rate as you are and you're not growing together as an individual, as friends or in relationship, then that person perhaps is growing less rapidly than you, or you're growing more rapidly than them, or vice versa. And then you guys are not at the same level anymore. And so I think that's one of the reasons why INFJs have a hard time keeping friendships for a long period of time. I think we do naturally, our friendships naturally run their course because, we might be friends with that person and good friends with them in this moment in time, but then we grow. And unless they're growing at the same rate as us, which some of my friends are, and so we are friends, and I know we're going to be friends for a long time because they're constantly growing and shifting and reinventing themselves. And my family is doing the same thing, so I know, we can be close for a long period of time. But some of them are not. And so I noticed that a lot of these people who are not growing at the rapid rate, they do fall off the wagon. They do fall off the friendship wagon. I do naturally, I think we drift apart from each other because we used to be friends in relation to certain things. Perhaps I was interested in, I don't know, I'm making up something like I was maybe interested in knitting, 2 years ago, and we became friends because she loved to knit as well, or he loved to knit, and we were really good friends because of that. But I don't knit anymore, but they still knit, and so obviously we kind of drift apart because they're a knitter and I'm not a knitter anymore. But we used to we became friends and we used to have conversations about knitting because that's what we used to do. I used to do that, they used to do that, but now I don't do it anymore. And so our relationship completely obviously falls apart because I have nothing to say about knitting and they're still talking about knitting and I'm like, I can't relate to this person anymore because I'm not knitting anymore. Of course, knitting is a random example, but you can put anything else into it, really. And friendships form on the basis of certain ideas and thought processes. Obviously, we like someone because they're like us, and we become friends with them. So maybe they're a yoga person and we are yoga persons, or like, yeah, cool, let's be friends. Or perhaps they are into doing YouTube videos and we're into YouTube videos, and so like, let's become friends. But as I said, we keep on growing, and especially as an INFJ, I find that the pace of growth is so rapid that sometimes I don't even know what's going on with myself. I don't even know who I am anymore because I'm growing so fast and I'm changing so fast, right? Because of all the things I'm doing, and I'm doing so many things at the moment, especially, and I'm doing 100,000 things to transform myself on a daily basis. And so even myself, I don't recognize who I was yesterday. And I don't even know myself right now because I literally am moving so fast and changing so fast. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes perhaps not so good. But, I think that's one of the reasons I said I have a difficult time understanding how relationships can last for so long. Of course, unless you're actually growing with each other or you're compensating. You're like, all right, cool. Compromising, sorry. Compensating maybe as well. But compromising. You're like, well, maybe they're not growing as fast as me, but I like them. And I want to be friends with them. And I'm going to stay friends with them. And I've done that with a couple of my friends where, they are definitely not growing at all. But I like them and they're good people, and I feel bad about letting go of that friendship. So I'm like, all right, let's just be friends. It's fine. I'm only going to see them once a year, maybe once every 2 years. It's not a big deal. Sometimes, though, I do wish that I could reset the relationship back to zero and be like, oh, you know what? I don't think it's working out for us anymore because you are a different person and I'm a different person now. And, it's not gonna, I don't think this relationship is going to work. And I wish I could just have that reset conversation where I'm like, I'm sorry, but we're different now. Unfortunately, what we do as INFJs we just door slam the person, or we stop talking to them, or we slowly ease out of their life. Which I've said before, like, I don't like doing that. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to just completely ease out. I want to have that conversation with them. But it's so difficult to have that conversation. It seems like such a negative, terrible thing to do to that person. I feel so terrible doing it. I feel like I'm a horrible human being to even say those words out loud. So I don't say them. And so I have all these people who are hanging around and who are friendly with me. But I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, I wish we could just let this go. Eventually, I'm sure it'll happen on their behalf as well. They will see it as well that, that person is completely different and I don't jive with them anymore. We don't have anything in common anymore. What are we going to talk about? We can't just always talk about the past. And I have some relationships like that where we're always just talking about the past. We're always talking about other people or about the past or people we knew in the past together or things she's done in the past or he's done in the past. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to live in the past, right? But of course, that's how some relationships are. That's what they're formed on, what their basis is. So that's okay. That's how things work out. But I just wanted to really do this video because it was kind of interesting to me that, I wished sometimes that we could have a reset button for relationships. I wish we could just be like, think, all right, done. I'm done with this. Okay, cool. Let's go on. Let's move on. Obviously, we're not friends anymore. We don't even have the same interests anymore. Come on, what are we going to talk about? There's nothing to talk about. So, c'est la vie, goodbye, and let's move on and find someone else who we hold an interest with for a few years, few months, and then, reset again and move on further. Maybe it's a very cold, calculated, cruel way to think, very INFJ way to think, but it seems to me like a very positive, at least time positive way to think, in the fact that you're not wasting time with each other. And also, if you're not growing with a person and if you're not able to connect with that person, what is the point of the friendship anymore? Like, why are you just holding on to that person because you knew them in a past life, or you knew them in the past and you want to hold on to that person that you used to be? Why, right? I mean, it seems kind of like actually a big waste of time and a big waste of psychic energy to hold on to a different past version of yourself that you're not anymore. And so for me, I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. I really just want to be like, bye-bye, and, kind of move on. But as I said, I'm not good at that. I'm still learning myself. I don't know if you guys kind of got what I was trying to get at. It's kind of a weird concept, very abstract, but I hope you did. If you guys have any questions, obviously, comment below and I shall do a follow. Or if you did get it and you are in the same situation, or you have been in the same situation, you have stories to share, do share. I would love to hear from you guys, as always. I learned so much from you. Again, thank you so much for listening, for watching, and I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.